Hey everyone, it's Mike here from the SEO Pub, and in today's video we're going to talk a little bit about Google Analytics 4 and its reporting functions. A lot of people have been complaining for the past year that they can't find the same information that they had in Universal Analytics and they don't know where to find things. So I'm just going to do a quick review on how you can create your own reports. So if you don't like the reports that are in Google Analytics 4, you can easily and very quickly build your own and have your own custom reports. Before I jump into that, if you haven't already, make sure you head over to the SEOpub.com, sign up there for the email list where I send out tips like this every single week. All right, so we're going to use the Google demo account. And if you don't have access to the Google demo account, I'll drop this link in the description. It gives you instructions on how to access. There's 3 different demo accounts. There's an old Universal Analytics one. There's one with the Google Merch Store using Google Analytics 4, and there's one using an app called Floodit. But we're going to use just the one for their website, the Google Merchandise Store. And again, I've seen a lot of people complaining about that they just can't find data and the information that they're looking for. So I want to review a couple things that to help with that. One thing that's really cool in Google Analytics 4, and Universal Analytics had a search bar, but it didn't give data quite this detailed. But the search bar in Google Analytics 4, of course, you can search for specific reports. So if you know the name of a report or part of the name of a report that you've looked at in the past, but you're just not quite sure where to find it, you can just type it in the search bar here and find it. And it will also bring up your recently viewed pages that you've been to. But one thing that's really cool here is you can type for specific information. So let's say I want to know how many conversions came last week from the United States. You can type that in and it gives you the information directly. It's a lot like, it reminds me of Google search, where if you type for something that's has a very specific answer, specific data, like how tall is Mount Everest, it just gives you the answer. So you can do this for a lot of your data. If you just have simple, I need to know how many times this event was triggered yesterday or last week, you can just type it in and Google will give you the information there. As far as the reporting goes, everything is under this reports tab. And a lot of these reports are pretty similar to Universal Analytics. So I'm kind of surprised at the amount of trouble people seem to be having finding this stuff. But for example, under acquisition, you have the acquisition overview, user acquisition. This one they edited in this account to first user default channel group. Then you also have the traffic acquisition. And this is one that probably most people are looking at in Universal Analytics, and same with Google Analytics 4. It just gives you an overview of how much traffic's coming from organic search, direct, if you have paid campaigns running, email campaigns. And I think one of the places that people are getting a little confused is in Universal Analytics, you had a similar report, which was the channels report here in all traffic. So I think one thing people were used to on this report is if you wanted to see more specific data around where one of these were coming from, like you could click on, if there was social here, you could click on that, you could click on referral, and you could go in and then see specific places where that traffic was coming from. It's a little different in Google Analytics 4. Just you have this drop down, and then if you wanted to see, for example, the sources, you can just change it to session source. It'll show you, here's how much traffic came from Google, here's how much traffic came from Baidu. You can change it to source medium. And so all the information is there. It's just a little different how you get to it. Another thing you can do here is, a lot of people like to kind of split up the data and look at different kind of comparisons within the data. And they do have this edit comparisons button. So you can take a look at, let's switch this back to the default channel group. You can take a look. So instead of all users, if I wanted to look at a specific country, so I want to see how much traffic came from the United States. You just change that, hit apply, and now it'll break it down and it will show you, and you can go down here, you can see, like, if you want to see organic search, here's how much of the organic search came by country, from the United States versus the total amount of organic search. And you can add other comparisons in here. And if you get a comparison that you like and you want to share, there's a share button here, so you can share the report with anyone else that has access to the account. So you can also then add another comparison. Let's say that we wanted to see, in comparison the United States to how much traffic came from Canada. Now we have both of them on there. And you can keep adding, additional comparisons to fill out this report the way that you want. If there's something that you want to see on the report that's not currently there, you can edit the report. Now, in the Google demo account, they don't let you edit reports, so you can't do that, but usually there'd be an edit button here. We'll go back to the demo account I set up that I used for the last video and show you how to change a report. So if we go back into, we're in the traffic acquisition, and let's say that I wanted to get rid of revenue, because I don't track revenue on this site, so I wanted to remove that. And maybe I wanted to add everyone's favorite bounce rate, and just make some edits here. So there's this edit button to customize a report. And you can start a report from scratch also, but I think it's a little easier to just use one of the reports that are there and then start editing it. Every report's going to have dimensions and metrics. Dimensions would be like the organic search, organic social, and then the metrics are numbers, so they're numeric values, such as users, sessions. All these are going to have numeric values. So we want to change some of the metrics, and it's really easy. Just go into the metrics. Like I said, I want to get rid of total revenue. I don't really care about that. Let's say I wanted to add something, and you can just search and add it. So there's bounce rate, and we'll put that, probably makes sense to be right beside the engaged sessions per user, or actually the engagement rate. There we go. And you can go through, so if you have an e-commerce site, you could add checkouts, you could add purchases, you can, so as far as pages, you could add page views. If you want, a lot of people are complaining that they can't find page views anywhere, so we could add that. We'll put that at the top, and pretty much whatever metrics you're looking for, probably here. There's a few things that Google Analytics 4 doesn't track that Universal did, but there's some things that Google Analytics 4 does track that Universal didn't. And if you really wanted to, you could even go in here, if you like these old reports and you're missing them that much, you could pretty much recreate all of these old reports that were in Universal Analytics, almost identical in Google Analytics 4. So let's hit the apply button, and now you can see here we have views. If we scroll over, there's the bounce rate, which is just the inverse of engagement rate, but bounce rate's there. And you can change this report to however you want it to look, and then hit the save button and save it as a new report. We'll call this, just so I can find it easy, edited traffic acquisition report. Hit save. There we go. By the way, when you're customizing too, the dimensions you could change. So this is using the session default channel group as default, but if I wanted it to open into source instead, I could set that as the default. And now instead it's going to open into the source there. But we'll change this back as the default. All the other options though will be available under that drop down. Another thing you can change, so this is opening, it's sorted by views. You can change that as well. When you hover over something, that little down arrow appears. So if I wanted it changed by sorted by users, I just click there and now it's sorted by users. If I wanted it sorted by conversions, I could do that. We'll just keep it on views for now. And now if we go back to our reports, I don't need those. You'll notice that the report does not show up here yet. Okay. What you have to do, you have to go to the library, and inside the library you will have collections and you have your reports. Okay, collections are what shows up here. So life cycle, that's one collection, and it's these reports in there. User is another collection, and it's these reports. You can change these to include whatever reports you want. So if we wanted to, we could create our own collection just by hitting that. And in here, we give it a name. So let's say I wanted to call it SEO Pub. And then you have to create a topic. So I'll just say my reports. And then from there, you can just drag the overview reports, you have detail reports, and you'll find your report that you created. This is the one that we built right there. And I could add other reports into this. Maybe I like the landing page report, and I like the events report. I'll throw that in there. And maybe that acquisition, or actually we'll do the engagement overview report. So whatever reports that you like, you can put in here, and you can order them however you want. Hit the save button, go back, and now I have this collection that I created, but it still doesn't show up under reports. The other thing you have to do, you notice that some of these say published. You have to publish this collection. So you hit published. And when we refresh the page, then we see our collection there. And if I go take a look at that under my reports now, here's our report we created, is right there. So again, you can build out these reports to create whatever you want to see, and customize them how you want. And I think it's a lot easier customizing these reports than it was in Universal Analytics. It's basically just a drag and drop editor, and you can sort them how you want. It's even easier, I think, sorting and creating these than it was in than it is in Google Data Studio or Looker Studio. Another thing you can do too, you can change these charts that show up. I forgot to mention that. So if you don't like the line chart or the bar chart, like I don't need this bar chart, to me is kind of useless. I can hide that and get rid of it, but we'll put that back and go back. One other thing you can add to these reports, you can also add filters, and you can even do it in your customized report. So let's say I wanted just a report that was only organic search traffic. So basically all this same information, but I just want to see organic search. You can add a filter, and we want the session medium and organic. Click OK, hit apply. And now we just created a report that is only organic search traffic. We can save this as a new report, and let's just say this is, we'll just save it as organic search traffic. Saved, and then you go back, and once again we're going to go into the reports. We're going to go to our library, and this is the SEO Pub reports. We're going to add it, so we hit edit collection, and we're just going to do a search for organic search traffic. So we're just going to add this as organic search traffic. We're going to add our organic search traffic report. Save this, and you can save it as a new collection if you wanted. We're just going to save to our current collection. If we go back, and now under reports, we have the organic search traffic report. So again, it's really easy to create these reports in Google Analytics 4 to see the data that you want to see. So you can see things that maybe you used to look at in Universal Analytics and you can't find in an existing report in Google Analytics 4. You can build that report. The downside is you can't share these reports with other accounts. So once you create a report, if you are managing 10 different websites, you have to go into all 10 websites and recreate that same report. There's no way to build a template and import it into Google Analytics for a different account. So that's one part that's a little bit of a pain in the butt. But once you do it once, you're set. You don't have to do it again. And maybe in some upcoming videos, I'll go over some of the reports that I'm building and show what kind of things I like to look at and how I like to build the reports out inside here. All right, that's it for this video. I'll catch everyone in the next one.